CTV News with Ricardo Veneza.
Good evening. Ricardo is off. I'm Michelle Maluske. Windsor has lost a titan of artistry. Music director Robert Franz lost his second battle with cancer this week. CTV's Sanjay Maru has our top story.
The Windsor Symphony Orchestra has lost its guiding force. Robert Franz, known for his infectious smile and love of all things music, died Tuesday night after his second battle with non-Hodgkin lymphoma.
Everybody here is grieving and has suffered a huge loss.
Since 2013, Franz has served as music director for the Windsor Symphony Orchestra, shaping the sound, vision, and future of the ensemble. His influence stretched far beyond Windsor, working with students, singers, and musicians across North America. Those who work with him say they were left in awe by Franz's ability to keep the show going.
Robert is an influencer. How we survived COVID, but how we came out of COVID, how he reshaped concert series.
Steering the orchestra through the pandemic, Franz created digital performances, even reading children's stories online, determined to keep music alive in people's homes.
He's given us an example of what we could follow and a vision for this orchestra. It's one of the most incredible regional orchestras. And we're in the shadow of Detroit with the WSO, yet we're also healthy and we're doing great things here.
His dedication to his craft was apparent not just to those who worked with him, but to those in the audience.
He loved what he did, he loved the community, and he had that little glint in his eye. But he also said, I take the music seriously, I don't take myself too seriously. And I thought that's a wonderful way to approach life, and that was Robert.
In 2021, Franz was first diagnosed with stage 4 non-Hodgkin lymphoma. The following year, he was declared to be in remission, but this past February, the cancer returned. It did not stop him, however, from continuing to power through treatment while still creating programs and sharing music with the community.
One of Robert's signature concerts that he put on are his superhero concerts, and he would don a costume and he would come on stage and he would be this big, huge character, but he was really a maestro superhero, and he didn't have to put a costume on because he really honestly was just the superhero for all of us here at the Windsor Symphony.
Robert Franz was 57 years old. Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
Windsor police released their crime stats for August today. Crimes against people are down 14.3% since last August. However, property crimes have gone up by 6.9%. Year to date, mind you, both stats down, with 6.5% fewer crimes against people and 4.3% fewer property crimes. A 28-year-old Chatham woman is facing assault charges for hitting her male roommate with a garden hoe. It happened early Tuesday morning. Police say the woman was intoxicated on illegal substances. The man wasn't seriously injured, but the woman is also facing charges of mischief and resisting arrest. Delays have started to increase for Transit Windsor riders in South Windsor. Some students say a 20-minute commute last year has now expanded to nearly an hour and involves 2 buses. This likely due to the idling of the school bus extras and high schools and St. Clair students returning to campus. It's leading to additional traffic volumes on busy streets with schools or access to the college. Still, Transit Windsor officials say they're willing to take another look at routes and schedules in the next quarter.
It's always an evolving transit system, but right now there's been a lot of good feedback. It's being well utilized, and we'll continue to look at monitor and maintain the level of service that's being directed.
Meantime, City Council continues to weigh the value of a so-called good neighbor policy. It would set out clear expectations for how residents, business owners, and social service providers would respond to non-emergency situations or complaints. At least one councillor wants the policy embedded in the housing and homelessness master plan.
We have to start talking about goalposts. We have to start having expectations of, okay, there's funding being directed towards this. What do we expect in return, right? What do we expect in return for the funding? Here's what we expect.
Coast Guard vessels and staff stationed in Amherstburg are under a transition of power. Starting Tuesday, the government is moving the Coast Guard out of Fisheries and Oceans Canada and into the control of the Department of Defense. Crews will continue their traditional roles in icebreaking, environmental response, and of course, search and rescue. But the government says they will also help Canada further protect its maritime security. Staying in Amherstburg a moment longer, but for a different reason. Support for workers against Diageo continue to pour in, as our Chris Campbell discovered today.
We'd like to support them.
The AMA Sportsman Association says it stands with the families affected by Diageo's decision. The club pledges to serve Crown Royal and 83 whiskey until February, but if the plant shuts down, both will disappear from their shelves.
We're saying to our members that work there, we're still going to support you by selling your product because you're still bottling it, but as soon as the day comes, hopefully it never comes, that they close that plant, we won't be serving them products at our Sportsman's Club after that.
After Premier Doug Ford dramatically poured a bottle of Crown out yesterday, Essex MPP Anthony Liardi is calling on the region to dump Diageo altogether.
Go to your cupboards. If you see a Diageo product in your cupboard, dump it out. Dump it out today. Don't worry about what you paid for it because you have to support your people. You have to support your friends and neighbors.
Windsor West MPP Lisa Gretzky is going further, urging the province to pull the brand from LCBO stores.
In a situation like this, to not just sit back and take it. At some point, you have to show your solidarity. You have to show that fight, and you have to push back.
More than 200 unionized employees work at the Amherstburg plant. Gretzky says they deserve the chance to keep their jobs after decades of local production. But experts warn a government-led boycott could backfire.
So you don't want to provoke or send negative messages or unfavorable messages to the company that remains committed to Canada. They could actually decide to close everything down and move to the U.S. They have the economic power. They have almost 400 million consumers to serve.
Sylvain Charlebois says consumer-driven boycotts have historically been more effective than government ones. For now, Premier Ford says he's considering a province-wide removal, but doesn't expect a decision soon.
Maybe it'll help.
Reaction on the street is mixed. Some say they'll back a boycott. Others say it may hurt workers more than the company.
I don't know how effective that is. Maybe it will help. I don't know.
I think it's a bad idea because they have other plants.
I don't know if I don't think so. A boycott? No. But what can you do?
Chris Campbell, CTV News.
Across Canada, walk to raise awareness and funds for PTSD touched down in Kingsville this evening.
We know it's not going away, but to be able to live with PTSD and experience what post-traumatic growth is it's something you can't put words to.
Veteran Chad Kennedy shared his ongoing experience battling PTSD at the Kingsville Legion branch. Years of life in law enforcement led Kennedy to nearly take his own life before finding a new lease on life. He created C's to C's for PTSD to spur more of these kinds of conversations for those who are suffering. Kennedy will finish this portion of the walk in Windsor next week before hitting the road next spring for BC.
Starting at our younger ages and giving them the skills and the tools to cope with emotions as they grow older. And now it becomes a life skill. So when we train young, it's like tying our shoelaces at a young age. It's a skill we take through the rest of our lives.
A beautiful day turned gloomy, but will it hold overnight? CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald will join me after the break with your detailed look at the weather. World's biggest kebab? A Windsor restaurant's going for it. We'll show you the results later on CTV News at 11. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joins me now with more details about a beautiful day that started out great and then turned into rain.
It did. Big transition. Good evening once again, Michelle, folks. We're talking about blue sky, right? Fair weather, cloud, a bit breezy, and then windy towards supper time today. Got into some rain showers, a good sweeping cold front, but not before the warm air that was in place brought us close to 3-4 degrees above seas. Will reach a high just above 28 degrees Celsius. Our average high now is just slightly below 25 degrees Celsius. And on top of that, it was a cool start to the morning. Pre-dawn, early morning low of 10.5 degrees Celsius. Here's our front. Steady showers through supper time. Now we're lingering, I would say, secondary and tertiary effects, right? Second and third waves behind the front. And on top of that, there's a threat of embedded thunderstorms as the system moves through. Then we'll see a separate system altogether bring some showers possibly Thursday night into Friday morning. More on that in just a moment. The rainfall tallies have not been too impressive just yet, but they're going to add up over the next 6 to 8 hours, which will take us through our Thursday morning. It will be a windy morning as well, and steady bands of rain showers just based on the trajectory of this system and the front, how it's moving through southern Ontario could keep things wet as you travel from Windsor, Essex towards Chatham, Canada, and then east towards London and beyond towards the GTA. And some of you may have those travel plans for business indeed. Possible showers, thunderstorms, a low of 14 through the overnight. That is the lowest temperature before sunrise tomorrow morning. And for tomorrow during the day, after we wake up to some showers, we'll get up to about 17 by the noon hour. It will be windy, but there's our break. Fair weather, but still windy weather is the story for the afternoon. The afternoon high 20 degrees Celsius, about 5 degrees below seasonal for this time of the year. More sunshine, though, and temperatures fluctuating, but still in the low 20s over the next few days. Friday, sunny, 23, 20 on Saturday, and looking at about 21 to about 24 degrees as we head towards the middle of next week. A few blips on the screen. I mentioned some showers, possibility of this next wave, especially for next Thursday. But for now, aside from rains now into towards tomorrow, it looks pretty good. And temperatures cooling off as we would expect at this time of the year. Michelle?
Thanks so much, Gary. Well, here's a sobering story about the volatility of the EV battery manufacturing sector. The Quebec government is pulling the plug on a factory east of Montreal, even though taxpayers there have already spent $500,000. CTV's Quebec bureau chief Jean-Vive Beauchemin has the details.
Some trees were cut, the site prepared on this vast stretch of land east of Montreal where the Northvolt plant was to be built. But Quebec has now made it official. The project that was to give energy transition a boost is dead. The minister responsible for the file in Quebec, Christine Fréchette, announced the end of its financing deal for the battery plant and a plan to try to recuperate some of the money it invested. The project was launched in 2023, touted as the largest private investment in Quebec history. Swedish manufacturer Northvolt, then run by former Tesla executives, pledged to produce enough batteries to power 1 million electric vehicles a year on land in McMasterville and Saint-Basile-le-Grand.
But we couldn't help glancing at Quebec.
The project was touted as a cornerstone of the Filière Batterie, Quebec's bid to be a hub for EV battery production. Ottawa pledged money but hadn't put it in yet, while Quebec taxpayers spent nearly $500 million. Northvolt hit a series of roadblocks. Critics blamed the government for ignoring environmental assessment rules. EV sales also slowed, and Northvolt's financial woes added up.
Évidemment, on est déçus.
The mayor of McMasterville now says the town is disappointed to lose the thousands of high-paying jobs promised, but it's looking to the future. And Quebec says while Northvolt is done, the province's EV battery supply chain is still in the works. Now the municipality is looking to see just what else will be built here to replace this massive project. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, McMasterville, Quebec.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is calling on the federal government to end the temporary foreign workers program. Fortunately, it excludes the ag sector, but as CTV's Rachel Aiello reports, the idea is still raising concerns.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre wants to abolish Canada's temporary foreign worker program
and to stop issuing
visas for any new temporary foreign workers coming into the country.
Prime Minister Mark Carney said today Cabinet is discussing how the program is working, but asserted it'll continue to play a part in Canada's immigration system.
When I talk to businesses around the country, particularly in Quebec, but elsewhere across the country, their number one issue is tariffs, and their number two issue is access to temporary foreign workers.
Poilievre's plan includes a carve-out for agricultural labor and an up to 5-year transition period for regions with ultra-low unemployment.
The turnover is insanely high. It's really hard to fill those labor needs domestically.
This 8th-generation farmer said the suggestion has tilled up a lot of concern in his community.
I don't know how you do away with a temporary foreign worker program in totality without potentially harming the agriculture streams.
Migrants' rights advocates say what Poilievre is proposing wouldn't come close to solving this country's employment challenges and accused him of leveraging division over immigration to get back in the national conversation.
Temporary foreign workers are in agriculture, they're chefs, they're in fishery workers. These are not summer youth jobs, right? So linking the two is as bizarre as sort of linking, the wages in Ontario with the weather in Saskatchewan.
The Federal Immigration Department said today that fewer new temporary workers entered Canada in the first half of this year compared to 2024, and continued reductions are planned. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
A spokesperson for Ontario's Fruit and Vegetable Growers Association says they're pleased with being excluded as they have worked hard over the decades to make their system efficient.
This program gets reviewed every year by the countries, and it gets, polished up, and operational things are cleaned up, and some of the worker protections are cleaned up. That's happened for over 50 years.
Also today, the upper levels of government are pledging to spend $15 million together to support the ag sector. The money will help farmers create or enhance natural features such as wetlands or pollinator habitats. They can also apply for funding to put in new tile drainage systems or plant trees. Officials believe this will help farmers improve soil and water health and boost biodiversity. On the markets, the TSX gained 136 points. In New York, the Dow lost 25. NASDAQ added 218. The Canadian dollar took a minor loss today, 0.02 cents. And on commodity markets, gold gained more than $43 an ounce. Oil dropped $1.62 a barrel.
X marks the spot where it all began. 89X is back. Windsor's alternative. 89X.
Start your day with the latest local news. By signing up for our newsletter, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
A startling video has surfaced online of men firing shotguns and rifles into a Muskoka forest. As CTV's Luke Simard reports, the OPP is now investigating.
Many of you have seen the videos circulating on social media showing individuals discharging firearms in a careless and unsafe manner.
The Ontario Provincial Police countering with a video of their own.
And we've been investigating for some time.
Releasing this over the weekend after several videos surfaced online of a group of men shooting shotguns and semi-automatic weapons off of a secluded rural bridge in Georgian Bay Township, a trail near MacTier used by residents in the area for ATVing, snowmobiling, and camping. Residents in the area concerned for safety and waiting for answers and action from police.
People are reluctant to come in here on the weekend ATVing. I talked to an electrician that's local this morning who indicated that he used to come out here with his grandkids ATVing, and now he doesn't.
Hundreds of empty bullet shells, garbage, broken glass now litter the area. The bridge was originally built by local residents before being retrofitted by Hydro One. That, according to residents, is often used.
This is actually a Hydro One road that they've built to access their towers for doing maintenance on their towers. So it's very disappointing that we have these folks, unfortunately, playing with their various caliber firearms.
The OPP letting the public know they're on it and firing a warning shot of their own to let the men in the videos know they're looking for them.
There's all types of weapons. They're not just your typical shotgun. There's all types of weapons that you can see on the videos. A wide variety of them. And one thing that we want to make sure that people are aware is the investigation might seem very straightforward, but it's not. The investigation is ongoing.
Local politicians, including Scott Aitchison and Graydon Smith, now releasing a statement on the matter, all echoing that the actions will not be tolerated, saying in part they fully support the OPP's investigation and their efforts to hold individuals accountable. Georgian Bay Township also weighing in.
You know, when you discharge that amount and that quantity of shells in the environment and start shooting up, propane tanks, we have many areas here that are, are significant wetlands, and we have a lot of species at risk.
Police continue to do public outreach to find out who is responsible for this incident. Meanwhile, a community meeting will be taking place later on this week. Luke Simard, CTV News, MacTier.
A recent robbery attempt in Cape Breton went up in smoke, exactly what the shop owners had hoped would happen. Now footage of it is blowing up online and showing others how to protect their property. CTV's Ryan McDonald has that story.
It all started when a pair of thieves smashed through the front door of a Sydney River jewelry store in broad daylight.
They did seem like they had a plan coming in.
Any plans changed pretty quickly, though, once the pair got inside. That's when a smoke machine the store had purchased a few years back went off at the same time as their alarms, leaving the suspects scrambling for the exit.
It was pretty comical because we've experienced it. We've tested our smoke machine, so we know what the visibility is like, and there is no visibility.
5 years ago, we had a armed robbery.
Store owner Glenn Tuddy says after that incident, they decided to install this machine called a smoke cloak.
You can't see your hand in front of your face, so you can't steal what you can't see.
Last week, a story aired on CTV News about a jewelry store in Ontario whose owners installed a similar security measure after a violent break-and-enter there last year.
You just want to do anything you can to try and delay them and slow them down. It's not like we're trying to, incapacitate them or something.
While the smoke may have foiled the suspects pretty quickly, today there was still the matter of whether or not they've been caught. We reached out to Cape Breton Regional Police for an update, but didn't hear back by news time. The store's owner says 4 items were taken and a glass case was damaged, but it will all be covered by insurance. For now, they have gotten plenty of feedback about their security measures and their video that has been viewed quite a bit.
I think it's in excess of 150,000 people since Friday supper time.
Exposure that he hopes might even result in some extra business in the wake of a brazen break-in. Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Sydney River, Nova Scotia.
Meantime, police in Chatham deployed a drone and confirmed a suspect had broken into a business. They then called in the K-9 and the emergency response team to end a break-and-enter in progress. A 29-year-old has now been charged.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
We launched a new segment here at CTV Windsor today called On the Sidelines with our sports aficionado, Bob Belichico. You can see the whole thing on our website, ctvnewswindsor.ca. Included in there is a unique story about a Windsor football player who had a stellar game recently. Here's Bob to explain.
It's pretty unreal to have that feeling.
Matthew Gannett threw for 6 touchdowns last weekend against the London Beefeaters and is the league's Offensive Player of the Week.
I'm not able to do what I do if my O-line doesn't block, if my receiver doesn't make that catch, if my coach doesn't call these plays. It's great that I have the trust in my players and my coaches that we're able to do what we're doing right now.
The Holy Names grad backed up Maurice Soja en route to the national title last year. With Soja moving on, Gannett knew this season was his time to shine and trained hard with his teammates during the offseason.
Being able to be here with everybody is always a lot better for team chemistry and everything.
That chemistry is on full display. St. Clair is 4-0 and have racked up 242 points while allowing only 28. Gannett threw for 6 against London and 5 against Ottawa the week before. That's 11 in the last 2 games.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of crazy looking on the outside, but we all knew what we had coming in.
The Saints host Hamilton Saturday night at Acumen Stadium, looking to continue the momentum during the second half of the season.
Mike said it from the start, like, we don't rebuild, we reload no matter what we do. And this wide receiver core we knew was going to do the most damage in the country, and you guys are just getting a sneak peek of it. Wait till the season goes on.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
A bright step forward for the Gordie Howe International Bridge. Testing is now underway on the structure's streetlights. Crews began testing 164 streetlights that line the length of the bridge on Friday and Saturday evening. A spokesperson says testing for the aesthetic lighting outside of the deck itself hasn't been scheduled yet, and still no date for opening day. Meteorologist Gary Archibald joins me. One last look at the weather, and am I getting the sense that raincoats are a must for parents tomorrow morning?
I think that's a great bet. I think that's a really good way to think. Be prepared for the wet weather. We've already seen it. It's lingering, and then we'll still see second and third waves pushing through. And tomorrow morning, for the youngsters, as they board buses and depart and head towards the schools, they could get into those showers. It's all about the timing for tomorrow morning. We'll see sunshine, but windy conditions into the afternoon. And then sunny Friday and Saturday. Low 20s, the story in terms of daytime highs for the next 7 days. Next week, we're looking at some fair weather. Temperatures still averaging around 22, 23 degrees Celsius. Wherever you are, have a great night and enjoy your weather.
Thanks, Gary. Finally for us tonight, a Windsor business with a taste for the record books set out this afternoon to roll their way into history. You're looking at a 78-foot beef kebab. Staff at Smokey's Barbecue on Ottawa Street rolled out all the fixings in an attempt to set a world record. They came up short from their goal of 160 feet, but they're determined to try again next year. There was no previous record specifically for kebabs. Dozens of residents came out to get a bite of what's the biggest kebab, at least I've ever seen.
Just to get the word out, or get the awareness for, like, people that do not have, the proper means to getting food every day. They can come and get some free sandwiches.
That's all the time we have for now. I'll see you back here tomorrow night at 11.